The Titan listening station was the coldest place anyone could work in the solar system. It stood hidden under the frozen crust of Saturn's largest moon, far from the noise of human civilization. Only a small crew worked there, most of them. Silent, tired, and isolated. But they didn't complain. They were chosen for one purpose. To listen, not to humans, not to anything nearby, but to the stars. Jenna Reese was the youngest in the station, only 28. She wasn't a soldier or a scientist. She was a signal analyst, someone who stared at data for 12 hours a day, listening for patterns. Her job was simple. If something strange came through, she flagged it, and one day something did. It came as a low-frequency burst. Nothing unusual at first. There were hundreds of stray signals bouncing across space. Most were natural. Some were junk data from old alien beacons. But this one was different. It had a rhythm, pulse. Jenna stared at her screen for several minutes. At first, she thought it was a mistake, some reflection, some echo. But when she ran it through the decryption filters, parts of it translated into Galactic standard used by the Council. Her hands trembled slightly. The message wasn't even directed at Earth. It was a closed communication between two distant Council nodes. Somehow it had leaked into a long-range bounce that ended near Saturn. That wasn't supposed to happen. She patched the file into the internal secure line. Command, this is Reese, at listening post 7. I picked up something you need to hear. There was silence. Then a calm voice replied. Understood, Analyst Reese. Upload the signal to Black Channel 1. She did. The next hour was strange. No one spoke to her. No one asked for a report, but she noticed the system locking down. Her screen access froze. Her ID badge stopped working. Then two men in black coats, not part of the regular staff, walked into her workspace. One of them nodded at her. Thank you for your service, Analyst Reese. You are now relieved. She wanted to ask questions. She didn't. She had worked long enough to understand what those men meant. Quiet orders. Shadow departments. The kind of people whose names weren't on any official list. Back on Earth, deep under the surface, in a classified chamber known only as Vault 0. The signal was played again this time, in full. It wasn't long, but it said everything. Phase 1 confirmed. Human expansion has passed projected thresholds. Begin preparation for containment protocols. If Terrans resist, initiate total suppression. Operation Sky Silence begins in 4 cycles. No trace must remain. The room stayed silent. Admiral Rourke, the head of Earth's secret planetary defense network, looked at the other members of the Earth Security Council. They were not politicians. These were war survivors, old intelligence directors, and hidden commanders. The kind of people who had seen the dark side of the galaxy. They've made their decision, Rourke said coldly. Now it's time we make ours. A few nodded. One of them, Director Alina Juno of the Orbital Shield Division, leaned forward. We need to assume the Council will deny everything if confronted. They won't have to deny anything, said Rourke, because we won't confront them. Not yet. There was confusion, sir. We stay quiet. No public moves, no loud threats, no panic. Let the Council believe we don't know. He looked around. In the meantime, we begin final phase activation of Project Revenant. Several in the room went pale. Project Revenant was Earth's last resort military response. It had been in planning for decades. Most believed it was just a rumor. It wasn't. Are we ready for that? Lena asked. Rourke answered without hesitation. We don't have a choice. 2 weeks passed. Publicly, Earth acted as if nothing had happened. News agencies reported normal stories. Space trade continued. The Galactic Council's ambassador sent greetings. Everything looked fine. But below the surface, Earth was changing. Secret factories hidden under oceans began to roar to life. Old warships. Long thought scrapped were pulled from dry docks in Mars's shadows. Artificial intelligence cores restricted under peace laws were reinstalled in Earth's command systems. They called it quiet mobilization. And above Earth, something vanished. The Midnight Spear, Earth's oldest experimental warship, disappeared from orbit. It had no crew, no signals, no flight logs, but it was gone, and only Earth's highest commanders knew where it went. Meanwhile, far from Earth, the Galactic Council met on the planet Celix 4. It was a bright world. It was full of clean white towers and wide marble halls. The council chamber stood like a cathedral of peace. At least on the surface inside, 13 alien leaders debated the human problem. "They're expanding too fast," said the Sirathi Chancellor, a reptilian being with eyes like fire. "Within 100 cycles, they will surpass us." "Containment must be surgical," said the Zelthar Warden. "We eliminate only their spaceflight capacity. Leave their planet untouched." "That won't work," replied high-voiced Luma of the Azran. "Terrans adapt. Cut off one path, they find another. You forget they come from a death world. They are born from struggle." There was a long pause. Then Grand Arbiter Cora of the Council stood. "Enough. The protocol stands. Sky silence begins in 4 cycles. Prepare the fleet. Earth will not resist. They believe we are their allies. Let them keep believing it until it is too late." But Earth wasn't blind. Humanity had already learned. Hard lesson: trust nothing in deep space. Admiral Rourke watched from the orbital platform Aegis Prime, as stealth fighters silently docked with the Midnight Spear. Its surface looked like old metal, but inside it was pure fury. The ship had never been used. It was too dangerous now. They would need it. A young officer approached him. "Sir," signal intercepted again. "They've moved up the timeline. Fleet assembling in Sector That-9, Rourke sighed. So they want to catch us before we react." The officer nodded. Rourke looked out at the black sky. "We're not going to react. We're going to vanish, sir. Get me Echo Base. Tell them to prepare Protocol Phantom." Echo Base was one of Earth's hidden installations buried under the ice crust of Europa. It was a ghost facility. No one outside Special Command even knew its full location. Inside it were tools Earth had never admitted to having: gravity benders, quantum mirror drives, and worst of all, the silence array. While the Council made plans to strike, Earth disappeared. Every major shipyard went dark. Civilian broadcasts stopped, trade routes closed, scanners from other species saw nothing. It was like Earth had shut down, but it hadn't. It had gone to war in silence then. As the first Council scout ship entered the edge of the solar system, it was cloaked, invisible. Fast, it never made it back. Seconds after it crossed Neptune's orbit, it vanished from all records. A single flash of light was seen by a mining satellite, but no debris was ever found in the Council chamber. Panic began to stir. "This was not expected," said the Sirathi Chancellor. "They detected us," said another. "But how?" Had answers. They didn't know Earth had completed something ancient civilizations once feared. Avoid needle, a weapon that used folded space to pierce ships without touching them. It had only one use: the destruction of uninvited guests. On Titan, Jenna Reese had been relocated to a secret facility on Mars. She wasn't under arrest. She wasn't free either. But she was being treated well one morning. She woke up to a voice calling her name. "Analyst Reese. The Admiral wants to see you." She was led to a wide command room. Admiral Rourke stood near the observation window, watching the stars. "Ma'am," she said quietly. He turned. "You were the first to hear it," he said. "Yes, sir. You changed everything. I didn't mean to." He smiled faintly. "No, but you did what humans always do. You noticed. While they thought we were sleeping." He handed her a secure pad. A new signal had come through. This one wasn't. From the Council, it was from deep beyond known space. Reese read the message. "We heard your silence. We remember your kind. If you rise again, we will answer." She looked up. "Sir, who sent this?" Rourke's face was still. "Someone older. Then the Council. Someone they tried to bury. But we remembered them." He paused. "And now they remember us." In the cold of space, near the edge of the Oort cloud, an ancient human drone floated. It was inactive, covered in ice. Forgotten then, for the first time in centuries, its core lit up. A single word pulsed from it, an ancient Terran code. a wah. The Galactic Council thought they still controlled the narrative. In their eyes, Earth was just a noisy young species. Advanced, yes, but still naive, still fragile, still controllable. So after the failed scout incident near Neptune, they didn't send warships. They sent a messenger, an official peace envoy. Vessel. But the ship wasn't peaceful. Its name was Vizari Prime, a sleek silver craft shaped like a blade. It was armed with deep scan weapons and mind suppression fields, hidden beneath layers of diplomacy. The Council called it a warning. It would speak kindly, deliver calm words, but if Earth refused to kneel, it would activate silent weapons, ones that turned minds soft and made governments crumble from within. They had used it before, on weaker species. It always worked, but Earth wasn't like the others. From the moment Vizari Prime entered the solar system, it was being watched. Earth didn't respond. No message, no greeting. But unknown to the envoy crew, 5 black satellites locked onto the ship. They were invisible. 2 Council sensors, powered by quantum stealth, and armed with sensor parasites, small machines that rode on enemy scans, feeding false data back. So when the Vizari Prime scanned Earth, it saw what the Council wanted to believe. A quiet world. Weak defenses, low alert levels. In reality, Earth was listening and preparing inside the Vizari Prime. Ambassador Zarn of the Yulari stood in front of his mirror. He wore the official silver robe of peacekeepers. It glittered under the soft lights of the Council ship. On his chest he wore the emblem of Galactic Unity, a symbol that once meant something. He looked proud, calm, almost bored. His assistant, smaller creature named Tilvik, stepped into the room. Ambassador Tilvik said, bowing, "We're 2 hours from Earth's orbit." Still no reply. Zarn grunted. They're nervous, as expected. Perhaps finally they'll show proper humility, and if they don't, Zarn gave a small smile. Then we press the pulse, quietly. No harm, no noise. Their leadership will dissolve. They'll beg for protection. He turned back to the mirror, adjusting his robe. Humans rise fast, but they fall faster. Fire without discipline always burns itself. The Vizari Prime entered Earth's orbit slowly. It hovered like a silver knife above the blue planet. Still no reply from Earth. Then, exactly 15 minutes later, Earth sent a message. Not an audio transmission, not a video, just a single line of text. Landing bay cleared. You are expected. No coordinates, no ceremony. Just quiet permission, Ambassador. Zarn smiled. Very well. Let's teach these Terrans what power looks like. The ship descended over the Atlantic, following a pre-programmed corridor. Beneath the clouds, they saw a single small landing zone on a high mountain somewhere in old Europe. It was quiet, no crowds, no officials, just a silver platform in the middle of the snowy mountains. The ship landed. Ambassador Zarn, his assistant, and 2 security drones stepped out. They expected to see generals or diplomats. Instead, they saw a single human, a woman, wearing a black coat, no armor, no guards. She stood still, hands behind her back, hair tied back tightly, her face unreadable. Welcome to Earth, she said. I am Ambassador Zarn, he replied proudly. And you are? The woman didn't blink. I'm not important. Zarn laughed softly. Then bring me someone who is. The woman's face remained calm. You'll be brought in shortly. But first, you'll undergo security clearance. Standard Earth protocol. Narrowed his eyes. You think I'll allow before? He could finish. A silent dart struck him in the neck. He stumbled, surprised. What is this? The woman stepped forward. Don't worry, just a harmless scan. Your systems are not compatible with our fields. For your protection, Zarn swayed, and the world around him turned black. When he woke up, he wasn't in a prison. He was in a white room, no windows, no doors, just light. Tilvik, his assistant, lay unconscious nearby. The drones were gone. Exarn stood, breathing hard. What is this? What trickery? Then, without a sound, a screen appeared in front of him. A human face. Male, sharp eyes, calm voice. "I am Admiral Rourke," the man said. "You are not a guest. You are not a prisoner. You are a lesson," XARN snarled. "You will regret." "This. The council sent you to deliver a message," Rourke interrupted. "But we already heard it. Weeks ago." Zarn froze. "We heard their plan. We know about Sky Silence. We know everything. You're bluffing." Rourke said nothing. The screen vanished. Then a second screen appeared. It showed the Vazari Prime. Sitting silent on the mountain then, exploding clean, controlled, erased from orbit, no survivors, except Zarn. On Celix 4, the council waited. 3 days passed, no signal, no response. No ship ambassador. Zarn had vanished. So had the most advanced envoy vessel ever built. In secret, the council tried to locate it. They sent drones. They found nothing. Then, from a civilian deep space relay station near Sector V21, a strange message came through. It was a council frequency. It's from Earth space, but the voice wasn't Arkan. It was human. "You sent a message. This is ours. We are not afraid. Come if you must, but don't expect to leave." The station operator froze. He had never heard a human voice sound so cold. Back on Earth, in the command chamber under Alaska's ice fields, Admiral Rourke stood with his inner team. "What do we do with him?" one officer asked, referring to Zarn. "Keep him sedated. Feed him just enough information. He'll eventually be released." "Released? Why?" "Because fear spreads faster when it comes from a witness." A silence passed. Then Alina, the orbital director, stepped forward. "We escalate?" Rourke shook his head. "Not yet." Turned toward the screen. "The council thinks they've lost one envoy. Soon they'll send many. But this time, they won't come talking." Far beneath the Atlantic Ocean, another program was reactivated. Project Kraken. Huge doors opened under the seafloor. Massive mechanical limbs extended from the deep. Ship larger than any known alien cruiser began to rise in silence. It had no crew, no bridge, just purpose. Above the sea, clouds thickened. Satellites went offline. The world didn't know. But Earth was preparing, and in a black chamber orbiting Pluto. The Midnight Spear received its next command: intercept, obscure, dismantle, disappear. Another council ship had entered the solar edge it would never leave again. From Earth's surface, the moon looked the same as it always had. Gray, silent, and peaceful. But that was a lie, underneath its cratered skin. Something had changed. For the first time in recorded history, the moon went dark. Satellites stopped reporting, lunar stations stopped transmitting. Civilian observatories saw nothing but a blank sphere in the sky to the public. It looked like a malfunction. To the Galactic Council, it looked like a retreat. But to Earth's secret command network was the beginning. Because buried deep inside the moon, hidden under ancient rock and fake mining tunnels, was Archangel Base, the most dangerous human facility ever built. And now, it had awakened. Admiral Rourke stood inside the lunar control core. 30 kilometers below the surface of the moon. All lights were red. Warning beacons pulsed silently. Screens showed encrypted lines of code running at high speed. His officers moved quickly, speaking in low tones. But Rourke was calm. He looked at the wall ahead, a single slab of dark, its material older than the base itself. It wasn't made by humans. It had been found and sealed. Now, they were unlocking it. Beside him stood Director Alina, arms crossed, face pale. "I thought we agreed never to use this place," she said quietly. "We agreed never to activate it unless we were certain," Rourke replied. And now, Rourke glanced at the screen. It showed the Council's fleet gathering in Sector That-9. "The Council is coming," he said. "We won't survive a direct fight in open space." "And this is the answer?" "No," he said. "This is the equalizer." Years ago, during a secret lunar dig, Earth had discovered something buried far below the moon's crust. An alien structure. Black metal, No doors. No seams. Dead. Or so they believed. But sensors inside Archangel Base began detecting faint pulses, radiation, movement, heat signatures from a sealed chamber. It wasn't dead, it was asleep, and it was older than the Council. Older than any known civilization, Earth named it the Vault. They never opened it until now. 3 engineers stood at the vault's surface, their hands trembling. The device they held was human-made, but its code was written using fragments from the vault's own energy pulses. They didn't understand it completely. No, one did, but it was enough to talk to the vault. The lead engineer nodded. On my mark. 3, 2, 1. He pressed the interface. Nothing happened. Then the vault shifted, not with noise, but with pressure. The air seemed to grow heavier. The ground shook, and then a single line of alien glyphs appeared across its surface, translated automatically by the human system. It read, "Acknowledged. Core sync initiated. Moonlock disengaged." Every light in Archangel Base turned white, then blue, then off. The moon had gone dark, not by malfunction, but by design. Earth had taken its own satellite offline in purpose. Meanwhile, the Council's inner circle watched closely from their command fortress on Galix-4. They had noticed Earth's silence. They had noticed the vanished envoy, and now they noticed the moon. "Explain this," the Sirathi Chancellor growled. Pointing to a hologram, the display showed Earth's moon but blacked out. No heat, no signal, no reflection, like it had become invisible. The Council's deep space probes confirmed it. The moon was still physically present, but no one could see it. "It's shielded," said the Zelthar warden. "Cloaking field, or something beyond it." "But why the moon?" asked another member. Then the Grand Arbiter spoke. "Because the moon is where they plan to make their stand." Back on the moon, something stirred inside the vault. A door appeared, liquid black metal, sliding apart in silence. Behind it, chambers hummed to life. Earth's top scientists moved forward, scanning what they found inside. Shocked even the boldest minds. A ship, or a machine, or perhaps both. It was shaped like a spearhead, but smooth like bone. Covered in glowing veins of unknown material, it had no engines, no weapons. Yet it emitted power equal to an entire fleet, and in its core was a pulse, slow, steady, and ancient. It reacted to human presence. Its systems began to adjust to Earth's energy signatures, like it remembered, like it was waiting. Admiral Rourke stood before it, staring. "What is it?" asked one of the scientists, whispered. "We don't know, but it's not a weapon." "Then what?" Scientist swallowed. "I think it's a beacon." Rourke turned sharply. A beacon to who? Somewhere beyond the Milky Way, in dark space, untouched by Council fleets? Something heard the signal, something ancient, something exiled. It shifted in the dark, and it smiled, back in Earth orbit. Council finally acted. They sent 3 scout destroyers to test the solar defenses. Not diplomats this time. No lies. No greetings, just raw, silent power. Each destroyer carried enough firepower to level continents as they entered the solar system. Earth's outer defenses remained quiet. No warning, no weapons. The ships grew confident. "We proceed to Luna scan." The surface. "Prepare warning strike." It never made it. As the Council destroyers reached the moon's orbit, everything changed. The blackness around the moon twisted. Reality shifted. And then, the destroyers were gone. No explosion, no debris, just gone, like they were erased. The Council screamed, "They've used forbidden tech. This is a war crime. They have something we don't understand." Admiral Rourke watched calmly. He turned to his officers. The vault absorbed them. One officer spoke softly. "Should we use it again?" Rourke shook his head. "No, we wait. Let them fear what they can't see." Alina stepped forward. "You think this will stop them?" "No," he said, "but it will slow them, and fear is now on our side." In the quiet black room under the moon, the alien ship pulsed again, and this time spoke a single word etched into human systems. Soon, the Galactic Council no longer spoke in circles. No more debates. No more warnings. The humans had crossed a line. They had silenced the moon. They had destroyed, or worse, rest 3 of the Council's top-tier destroyers without firing a single shot. This wasn't defiance. This was war. So the Council prepared a fleet, not a scout team, not an envoy, full strike force. Over 200 ships, led by 3 dreadnoughts, each capable of ending entire planetary civilizations, crewed by veteran soldiers, armed with pulse lances, hull burners, atmosphere splitters, and memory disruptors. They didn't want surrender. They wanted submission. They called the operation Ashfall. From Earth's low orbit, Admiral Rourke watched the sky. He knew they were coming. The enemy was still 16 hours out from Saturn's outer edge, but Earth's hidden sensors using folded space, shadows and gravity skips had already detected the fleet before they even entered the inner system. It was bigger than expected. Much bigger. Rourke stood still. His officers argued around him. Some demanded immediate counterstrikes. Others wanted to deploy Earth's secret weapons, the Hearts of Stone, the Valkyrie class, the Black Net. But Rourke shook his head. No, we don't fire first, he said quietly. Why? Director Alina asked, her voice tight. They're coming to end us. Rourke turned toward the massive transparent screen showing Earth's darkened moon. Because they haven't learned fear yet, he said. Let them see what they're walking into. The fleet arrived near Mars. Their sensors picked up Earth's outer defense stations, old-looking, underpowered. It's easy to destroy. The Council Admiral laughed. These are their defenses. Pathetic. He didn't know Earth wanted them to think that. He gave the order, proceed to Earth orbit. Final staging. The fleet began its final journey. 8 hours to Earth. But something strange happened as the fleet passed between Mars and Earth. Their long-range comms began to fail. Static, then silence. Their navigation AI began to miscalculate gravitational readings. Their engines stuttered just slightly, but enough to shift course by a few kilometers. Then entire escort ships vanished from radar. One by one, no explosions. No energy spikes. They just faded. Sensor glitch, the Council Admiral snapped. Run a full scan. The scan returned instantly. Empty space. No wreckage. No trace. Then one of the dreadnoughts received a single signal. No origin, no encryption, just a single Earth voice. You have entered restricted space. There'll be no further warning. The Admiral's skin went cold. He ordered his fleet into full battle formation. Tactical screens lit up. Fighters deployed, shields rose, and then the stars disappeared from Earth. Civilians watched the sky as a strange darkness passed overhead, like a black curtain drifting across the stars. They didn't know what it was. The military did. It was Stratos Field 0N. Energy mesh woven from the moon's hidden projectors and the black satellites around the planet, invisible, deadly, and now fully active. Inside the Council fleet, chaos erupted. Ships began vanishing in pairs, not destroyed. Taken, gravity sensors failed. Ships spun in place, and then came the voice. Broadcast into every Council vessel at once. Human-female.com, cold. Your technology is known. Your tactics are old. Your strength was predicted. Your presence ends here. Then silence. Then impact. No visible weapon was seen. No missile. But the Council dreadnought Chirvuln cracked down its center like paper. Atmosphere vented. Bodies flew. The second dreadnought spun violently before colliding with one of its own frigates. Within minutes, 40 ships were gone. Some destroyed, some simply missing. The Admiral screamed for retreat, but space itself began to warp. Black Net had closed. His fleet was inside a cage. Then one of the remaining ships desperate fired its planet breaker weapon toward Earth. A bright beam of white-blue light tore through the sky. It never reached the moon. flared silently only for a second. A ripple of space bent around the beam, redirected it. The weapon curved and open. Vacuum bent back like a snake hand hit. The ship that fired it, direct hit, total annihilation. Back on Earth, silence filled the command chamber. Rourke turned to Alina. "Send the signal," he said. She nodded. From inside Archangel Base, the dark vault pulsed again, and the sky above the planet lit up. But not with fire, with shadows. Hundreds, a black arrowhead shaped. Objects began to emerge from stealth. Silent ships. No names, no flags. Earth's true fleet, never shown before. Never deployed until now. In the final moments of the Council fleet, they saw the truth. They weren't attacking a primitive world. They were waking a monster. The last message received by the Council before contact was lost. You wanted war. Now you know what it costs. Back on Celix 4, the Council's command room fell into chaos. They had lost over 80% of their strike force. No survivors, no data, just silence, and one cold, simple message now burned across their emergency channel. This is Earth. Stay out of our sky. The Galactic Council was humiliated. In just 2 solar days, Earth had erased a full strike fleet. 3 dreadnoughts. 200 ships. Thousands of elite soldiers gone. And now, Earth had gone silent again. Not weak silent, the worst kind of enemy, the kind that doesn't gloat. The Council gathered in the High Spire on KLX-4. 1,000 diplomats, warlords, and sovereigns from across the stars shouted in frustration. We must respond. Another fleet. Exile Earth. But no one had an answer, because no one understood how Earth did it, and that made the fear worse, so the Council turned to a weapon older than war: sanctions. They stripped Earth of all interstellar trade rights. They canceled all wormhole gate privileges. They declared Earth a rogue world, a quarantine zone. Any species caught helping humans would face immediate penalties. They even sent the verdict directly to Earth's diplomatic channel: you are hereby isolated. Let your world starve. In silence, they expected panic. They expected begging. Instead, they got nothing. On Earth, inside the Archangel Base, Admiral Rourke smiled faintly. Let them close the doors, he said. We already unlocked new ones. Because Earth was never waiting for the Council's help. They had been preparing. The vault on the moon had revealed locations, old sites buried across the system. Ruins, cores, relics, not human. Not Council. Something before Earth had already activated one under the Pacific Ocean, another near Mars. Now, they were lighting up again. The sanctions didn't cut Earth off. They freed it. While the galaxy thought Earth was being starved, Earth was sending ships into deep, uncharted voids. Small, black vessels, silent, cloaked, with no broadcasting signature, moved through dead sectors of space. Their goal wasn't war, it was recovery. Because what Earth had found inside the vault wasn't just technology, it was a map. A map of where others like it had once landed. Director? Alina stood in the deep systems chamber beneath. Antarctica. On the screen in front of her floated a model of the Milky Way. Small, red dots lit up each. One a location from the vault. All of them forgotten by history. All of them alien. She turned to the Prime Commander beside her. How many sites operational? 3, with a 4th warming up under Europa's crest. And the old Dyson ring near Sagittarius? Still dormant? But it's humming, Lena nodded. The Council thinks they isolated us, she said. But we're already expanding. Beyond them. Meanwhile, the Council watched Earth's silence with unease. No broadcasts, no messages. Not even a protest. That kind of calm meant danger. They began surveillance operations, sending stealth probes near. The solar system, only one returned. It showed Earth's moon pulsing again, a new structure rising from its hidden base. It looked like a tower or a lighthouse, except it didn't shine light, it absorbed it. Then came Earth's next move. Without warning, Earth shut down its spaceports. No more shuttles, No more orbital stations. From the outside, it looked like collapse. But inside, Earth's production had gone dark intentionally. Under the surface, factories ran silent. Megastructures were being built without broadcasts. Computers were sealed off from galactic networks. Humans had gone fully offline. The Council panicked. They issued a system-wide embargo. They blocked all access to Earth-adjacent space. They sent warning drones to every trade route. No vessels may pass within 6 parsecs of the Sol system. But it didn't stop what was coming. 3 weeks later, something appeared near the edge of Council space. An object over 700 kilometers wide slowly emerged from a folded pocket of space. It had no engine signature, no heat, no life signs, yet it moved intelligently, and on its surface were markings no species could translate, except one. Earth Council analysts examined the object in panic. This isn't human, it's too old, but it's active. What is it? They sent probes. All vanished. Then came a pulse. One deep, rhythmic thump across the fabric of subspace. It repeated 3 times, and every time, it made one word appear on Council screens: awakened. At the same time, Earth's Mars base sent out a new beacon. It wasn't a distress call. It was a claim. A message translated into all major languages of the galaxy. Earth is not alone in its past. Earth is not bound by your present. Earth is preparing your future. In a Council backroom, the Gurnithi Prime slammed his fist. They are provoking us. They are doing nothing, the Grand Arbiter said. That's what makes it worse. Back on Earth, Admiral Rourke stood in front of a vast underground chamber. Inside floated the object recovered from. Under the Pacific, it was no longer dormant. It now pulsed in sync with the vault on the moon. Scientists had stopped calling it alien. They called it what it was becoming: ours. Alina approached him. The Council will send spies, she warned. They already have, Rourke replied. But they don't know what we've become. They still think we're waiting? He nodded. Let them. Outside Earth, inside a dormant gate station long forgotten by the stars, a hidden human ship docked quietly. Its captain walked into a dark chamber and placed a device into a sealed terminal. The walls lit up, ancient machinery spun. A portal began to open when the galaxy had forgotten existed. Earth wasn't breaking sanctions. Earth was bypassing them, and the Council had no idea what was coming. The Galactic Council was done waiting. They had tried diplomacy. They had tried threats. They had issued sanctions and even isolation orders. But Earth didn't care. No trade. No messages, no panic. Only silence. And strange movements across, forgotten. System. So now, they decided to finish it. For real this time, they launched a second invasion. A new fleet, smarter, heavily shielded. Anti-cloaking sensors. AI prediction engines. They even changed their approach. No more loud arrival. This time, they came in stealth, through dust lanes. Solar shadows, far from Earth's sensor networks at least. That's what they thought. Commander Vex of the Selenari. Armada stood on the bridge of his cloaked flagship. They were only a few hours from Earth's orbit. This time, they won't see us coming, he said confidently. But then his sensor officer said something strange. Sir, I'm not picking up Earth. What do you mean? No M signatures, no satellite traffic, no shield pulses. Not even the moon array is broadcasting. Cloaking maybe? Or... There's nothing there. Vex frowned. He tapped the screen. The map zoomed in, and what they saw made their blood run cold. Earth was gone. Not exploded, not destroyed. Gone. No atmosphere, no cities, no oceans. The planet was still there, but empty. Dead, like it had never been. Inhabited at all? But that was impossible. Vex's voice was tight. Run historical scans. Match satellite orbits. Check tectonic footprints. I want confirmation. The AI came back with one sentence. This is not the same Earth. The fleet broke formation. Scanning beams lit up the system. Still no response. Then one of the dreadnoughts received a single signal, exactly like the one from last time. But this time, The voice wasn't a warning. It was a whisper. You're late. Without warning, the ship behind the flagship vanished. No explosion, just empty space. Then another, then two more. Dozens of vessels were being deleted from reality, erased from sensor. Memory, it wasn't a weapon. It was something else. Something deeper, like space itself was no longer obeying their laws. One cruiser fired a panic shot toward where Earth should be. The beam bent mid-space and vanished into a dark rift that hadn't been there seconds ago. "Sir," the sensor officer whispered, "I think this system is fake." "What?" "I think we're inside a projection or a trap. Get us out of here," Vex shouted, but it was too late. The stars above twisted, then the sky disappeared. The entire fleet now floated inside a black void. No stars, no planets, no light, only silence. And then a new planet appeared before them, but it wasn't Earth. It was larger, stranger. Its continents were shifting, oceans glowing, skies filled with spirals of light. It looked alive. The ship's A's went silent. One by one, their systems began shutting down. Manual controls failed. Weapons refused to activate. The fleet had been disarmed inside the lead ship. Vex and his officers stared helplessly. Then a figure appeared on every screen, human, but more eyes glowing, skin like glass and stone. He spoke calmly. "You came to invade Earth, but Earth has moved on. We no longer live by your laws. Your galaxy has nothing for us," they were warned. Then came the final signal, one that played across the entire fleet's system. "Welcome to Earth's shadow." The fleet began to fall apart. Not explode dash collapse, as if each ship was being folded into itself. Time was twisted. Engines reversed. Crew members screamed, and then vanished. One ship tried to activate its emergency warp core. It never activated. Instead, the ship was instantly teleported outside the galaxy, billions of light years away. A warning. A punishment. Back on Celix 4, the Council watched. Their second invasion fleet disappeared from tracking logs. No distress calls, no explosions, just gone again. But this time, they didn't receive a message from Earth. They received it from something else. A construct hovering near the Sagittarius Rift, massive, silent, ancient. When scanned, sent only one line. "This is Earth's boundary. Turn back or be forgotten." In secret, some species began asking a quiet question. Where did Earth go? Rumors spread that Earth had entered another layer of space, that it had merged with forgotten technology left by the precursors, that it had become something new. Some said Earth had built a second Earth better, smarter, invisible to the rest of the galaxy. A shadow Earth. And now, it was watching everything inside the Archangel Vault. Deep below what remained of the original Earth's surface, Admiral Rourke stood with Alina. They weren't on Earth anymore. They were in Echo Prima, New World, linked to ancient machines, protected by quantum shadows. He looked at the screen. Another council? Fleet had been destroyed, but he didn't smile. He just said quietly, "They keep coming." Alina nodded. "And we keep showing them why they shouldn't." Had ascended, and now, it wasn't part of the Galactic Council's map anymore. It was building its own galaxy. The Galactic Council thought Earth was gone for good. They had no explanation for what happened to their second invasion fleet. No wreckage, no escape pods, no survivors, just silence. But 3 weeks later, something arrived at the edge of Council. Space, a ship. Small dot black. No markings, no engine flare. It didn't come through a gate. It simply appeared. The Council's long-range sensors picked it up floating. Between sectors 12 and 13, just sitting still. No ID, no transmission, no crew signatures. It matched no known design except for one small detail. A Terran registry code. Burned into the hull. Vessel, ESS requital status. Active, a Council scout vessel was dispatched. Captain Urin of the Marnax Republic approached slowly. Systems on full alert. He sent a standard hail message. In 6 galactic languages, no response. He tried again, still silent. Then, just as they prepared to return, the ship opened a channel, no video, only audio. A strange voice, human-sounding but wrong, ancient mechanical, echoing like from a cave, and it spoke in a language no one had heard in over 10,000 cycles. A dead language. The scouts recorded the entire message. Later, Council historians recognized the tongue. It was Precursor Dialect 0, one of the first written languages in the galaxy. Now, extinct no species had spoken it for millennia. And Earth wasn't even supposed to know it. Yet this small Terran ship spoke it fluently. The voice said, "This message is not for the living. This message is for the ones who forgot what they buried. You declared Earth's primitive, but the soil of Earth was never ours. It was borrowed from those who built the stars." The ship then transmitted a sequence coordinates to 5 ancient sites across the galaxy, all locations previously unknown, all pulsing with energy no one could explain. The Council panicked. Why? Would Earth know about these sites? Why speak in that language? Why send only 1 ship? And why now? The requital didn't move. It just waited. A few curious species sent science vessels to the locations it pointed to. Only 1 came back. The rest disappeared. The 1 survivor was an old academic. Shipped from the Brithary Union, their crew returned. Changed, silent, eyes glowing faintly under their hoods. They refused to explain what they had seen. They said only one thing before sealing their ship permanently. Earth woke them up. In the central chamber of the Archangel Vault, Admiral Rourke listened as reports came in. Alina stood beside him, holding a datapad. 3 fleets missing. Council chatter increasing. No retaliation yet. But Rourke wasn't smiling. This was the test, he said quietly. They needed to hear that language again. They weren't ready, Alina replied. They never were. Later that day, the requital moved. No engines, no sound, just shifted from one sector to another faster than light. Faster than time, and wherever it passed, deep space sensors began to glitch. Stars blinked out for a fraction of a second. Time wobbled. Reality bent. The message it carried kept repeating in faint bursts. Your maps are lies. The border you drew around Earth was never yours. You tried to cage a tomb. Now you've opened it. The Council debated destroying the ship, but every attempt failed. Targeting systems refused to lock. Missiles misfired. Lasers bent mid-space. Finally, the Council ordered all vessels to avoid the Requital, but the damage was done. The message was out. Hundreds of smaller species began fleeing to the galaxy's edge. Old prophecies resurfaced. Elders in forgotten corners of space whispered about Earth's true role, not as a threat, but as a warning. Back on Echo Prime, Earth's hidden world scientists stood in a vast chamber beneath a stormy sky. In front of them hovered a monolith, one of many recovered from the precursor sites. It now pulsed in sync with the requitals. Transmissions. The symbols on its surface shifted, translated slowly into one clear sentence. Earth was the last gate, and now it is the first key. Admiral Rourke watched silently. They think we're sending messages, he said. We're not, Alina replied. We're answering them. In Council territory, unease turned to fear, because even though Earth hadn't fired a shot in weeks, they had just done something far worse. They had started a memory, and the galaxy remembered why that language had been buried. For centuries, the Galactic Council had ruled through fear, control, and technology. They classified Earth as a minor world, a backwater. It's unworthy of serious attention. That mistake had cost them fleets. Now it was costing them time and time. What Earth had stolen. After the requital transmitted the precursor language across the stars, strange things began to happen. Ancient gates reactivated, dead moons pulsed with light, dark sectors, long avoided for their anomalies, began to shift. In orbit, And everywhere, the same signal echoed. Earth was not the beginning. Earth was the seal. In the council hall on Kellyan Prime, panic had become law. All member species received a new directive. OT, approach Earth. Do not engage Earth ships. Do not interact with Earth's AI signatures. But it was too late. Across hundreds of systems, forgotten machines were waking up. Massive rings in the void. Old planetary vaults. Time tombs that had once watched. Silently were now singing in unison, not to the council. To Earth. At the edge of the galaxy, a final council. Fleet was launched. Not to attack, but to plead. Admiral Siler of the Zenthari led the envoy fleet. He had once called humans children playing with fire. Now he begged to speak with them. The moment his fleet entered what used to be the Sol system, everything changed. Stars warped, light bent. Their ships slowed not by engine failure, but by time itself, and ahead of them stood something no one could have imagined. A new Earth. Bigger, brighter, floating inside a ring of shifting moons above it. In orbit, a megastructure the size of a gas giant, made of stone, light, and metal. That didn't reflect scans. A message came across all channels. You arrive not in peace, but in fear. The reckoning has passed. The key has turned. The ones you buried with silence. Now, speak through us. The fleet tried to respond, but their comms failed. And one by one, the ships froze mid-space, not by any visible weapon. By gravitational sentence, the ships were suspended, and from below. Rising from Earth's new atmosphere came the herald. Human, got not tall. Ethereal. Wearing robes of shimmering data and time threads, he stood at the edge of the Council flagship's observation. Without any ship, without oxygen, without physics. He stood in space and spoke. You feared us when we were weak. You mocked us when we asked for peace. No. You asked for mercy. But mercy was what you destroyed first. On planets across the galaxy, civilizations watched in terror. The stars near Earth began going dark, not exploding, just disappearing. From telescopes, the Council tried to alert colonies, but all signals routed through Earth's ancient relay grid, and those relays had already been rewritten in the void archives, an ancient precursor library hidden between reality as a door cracked open for the first time in a million years. Inside, machines woke, and they whispered, "They are ready." A signal pulsed from Earth, the shape of a hand human made of light. Then came the final message Earth ever sent to the galaxy. We were never the threat, we were the trigger. Suddenly, in every corner of the galaxy, forgotten things moved. Artificial stars, buried Titan, mechs, wormholes, sealed by unknown tech, and all of them responded to one voice, Earth's voice. Or more accurately, humanity's purpose. The Council never understood. Earth hadn't just survived, Earth had been chosen by something older than time, back on Echo Prime. Admiral Rourke stood beside Alina as the final update arrived. Every Council fleet had stopped moving. The galaxy's supergates were sealed. Even time-scan devices no longer worked. We didn't conquer them, Rourke whispered. We just outgrew them. Alina nodded. And now they know. In the galactic night, stars kept blinking out, but no one died. No planets were destroyed. Instead, something worse happened. The entire galaxy was now under a new silence. Not the kind Earth once endured. This was different. Earth had ascended and left the rest behind. The Council understood. But it was already too late. The humans they thought they could control were now something else. Not monsters, not gods. Just done asking, done warning, done waiting. Final transmission from Earth. We gave you centuries. You gave us silence. Now you will hear ours.